Hey UTM, I'm Sarah May Eduardo Oldfield, and I'm the sports editor at The Medium. I hope we're all keeping safe, happy, and healthy. Welcome to our final episode of our video series, Quarantine Stories. I hope you've enjoyed the series thus far. In this episode, I interview Elaine Gong, a student who studied abroad in Amsterdam and will be in Dubai this fall semester. We talk about her experience living and studying across the world and navigating lockdown amidst a global pandemic. I hope you enjoy my interview with Elaine.
How are you doing? First of all.
I'm doing good, thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And where are you right now? Are you?
I'm currently in Dubai.
Okay. All right. Year-end program.
I'm in my fourth year, and I'm doing a double major for CCIT and sociology.
Okay. Why sociology? It seems
Um,
kind of a different pairing. I've heard a lot of like DEM, and then there's professional writing and CCIT, but I think you're the first sociology I've ever.
so many people that are doing it with like either sociology or criminology.
Yeah.
Um, so it's actually quite like a funny story, I guess. So when I first came into university, I kind of
Mhm.
just thought, I applied for CCIT and I would be, doing CCIT until I graduate, pretty much. When I took up sociology and like with my CCIT major, I thought that they would like, go kind of hand in hand with each other. Because at first, like I kind of bounced around within like CCIT, professions. I went from journalism to film to like everything, and now I'm in UX and UI. So like I want to work in tech sector. But then
Ooh.
I attended like one of my friend's sociology lectures and I loved it. So because I just thought that there's so much of like a human aspect to it. It just kind of goes into detail about like how society works, how our institutions work and everything. So that really interested me.
It's even more prevalent given what's going on today. I mean, how society is running amidst a global pandemic.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Why did you decide to study abroad?
So ever since I was like a little girl in grade seven and everything, I've always wanted to do a study abroad. I guess like it has to do with like my background and like my parents and everything. So I'm ethnically Chinese, but my parents moved to the UAE, and I was born and raised in Dubai, pretty much. And when it came to university, I was initially supposed to go to Italy. But once I actually joined UTM, I was like, okay, you know what? I love it here. I'm not leaving. um, so
UTM has an effect on people.
yeah, it's like I started to love my friends and everything, and I was like, oh, like maybe
Yeah.
it's too late to leave now. And that's when kind of like exchange came back into my mind because I'm like, okay, this is perfect that I'll still be a part of UTM, but I'll have a chance to explore somewhere new. And doing an exchange is being there for a long term where you get to experience the culture firsthand and meet people from the locals to other people. So that's kind of why I wanted to do an exchange. Yeah.
And so, how does that work? How does an exchange work? So, do you pick the place?
So personally, I kind of I knew I was headed towards Europe. So I didn't like look too much into like the other schools, and so I went to the University of Amsterdam. Basically, you would choose your top five institutions. I picked top five institutions from the ones that like U of T had, I guess, partnerships with. And basically, they tell you to rank them from, the one that you want to go to most to the one that you least want to go to. And Amsterdam was my first choice, and I got it. So I think that's kind of like the process of it. Like if I didn't get
Yeah.
into Amsterdam, I would go to my second choice, which was Lund in Sweden. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I have no idea how exchanges work. So like you're in Amsterdam and like you take like regular classes and like
Yeah, their semester actually worked like really different than ours. Basically, you know how like U of T or like Canada in general, I guess you take five courses per semester, and
mhm,
basically you take all those five courses at the same time, right, in one
mhm.
semester. But the way how Amsterdam worked was, so I did also take five courses, but they were split up. So I did in my first 2 months I did two courses, and then in the second 2 months I did another two courses, and then in my last month I did one course. So school was also longer, i I think, because I technically my exchange was February until the end of June. It kind of
Yeah.
feels like summer school, like summer school at U of
Uh,
T, but like three
yeah.
times. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I get it now. Yeah. Okay. now I'm going to get to the big question. How was studying abroad disrupted by the development of the pandemic? Because you studied, you said February, right? The term was like February to June, and it really just hit the world at like in March.
Yeah. So I actually came back home to Dubai to my parents.
Oh, okay.
So it was, oh, this is a funny and sad story, I guess.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay, perfect. So I went there at the beginning of February, like at the end of Jan, pretty much. And me going in there, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna travel to a different city every weekend. This is just, the perks of going on an exchange in Europe. Until the pandemic hit, and all my friends were like, no, like, don't worry about it, like it's not gonna come here, it's all right, like, no worries. So I didn't think too much about it, right? But I have parents. So they're very like paranoid about a lot of things, and like being parents, they kept checking up on me, and they were like, okay, you can't go here, you can't travel, you can't visit Sweden for your friend's birthday, like you can't go to Switzerland. But overall, like, I think I did definitely make the right decision to come back home when the pandemic like really hit, because having moved to Amsterdam just for like a month and a half, like 2 months, I was still really scared, like, what if I got sick, or, what if someone around me got sick? Like, I wouldn't know what to do in that situation. I wouldn't know, where to ask for, like, go for help, and I wouldn't know who to contact. And I also lived alone for student residence. I didn't have any roommates, and the building area was a little bit segregated because most of my friends lived in a different like residence, I guess. So I kind of got really scared because, okay, if I got sick, like, I don't want to, ask my friends to come deliver me food every day, or, do that kind of stuff. When things got serious to me being sent back home was actually when the US announced travel bans. I think that's when, like, things kind of hit the fan and everyone started taking it a little bit more seriously. And I just remember, like, this was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and my friend just calls me and she's like, hey, I'm being sent back to the US. And on my exchange, there were actually a lot of students from the US, and all of a sudden, the next day, like, half of our class was gone. So that was a little bit alarming because that's, like, how serious the pandemic actually is, when, no one really took it seriously just a few days ago or even a few hours ago, and then all of a sudden, everyone's going home. And I called my mom, and she was like, okay, yeah, I'm booking your flights for like the coming Friday. Like, don't worry, like, you'll be back home. It's all good. And U of T has been really nice that, like, my mom called them and they were just, kind of trying to reassure us in a way. But definitely, like, during that time, so I don't think anyone really feels reassured in any sense.
Right.
So during that, like, my friends and I kind of were like, okay, you know what, like, before we leave, we're gonna go out with a bang, like, we're gonna go get tattoos and I don't know what. So that was kind of, what's going on in our minds, until we found out that everything was closed. And basically Amsterdam is a very lively city. It's literally like bustling all the time, and especially like in central Amsterdam, the trains and the trams and metros and everything are always full, always full. But like literally the next day, I went to go see some friends for like, a goodbye, like lunch kind of thing. Everything was empty, and it felt so like terrifying, and it was just so sad, because like from such a loud city, and like, everything was so lively and happy, and then all of a sudden it was like a ghost town. So yeah, that was definitely really scary. And then my mom just called me out of nowhere while I was at lunch, and she's like, oh, by the way, like, you're coming home tomorrow because Dubai is also closing its borders. I think that's when things kind of got really serious, and like no one really knew how to like what to feel anymore, because like I was going home, and my friend was going back to Canada, and then there were other few like of my European friends that they were kind of debating, like, should I stay or should I leave, because it doesn't seem too serious in Europe right now, but things might escalate. And it was just kind of like really sad, I guess, because like I just got to meet like such a like an amazing group of friends, and then I'm saying goodbye to them so soon. So yeah, that's definitely like the sad part of like going on exchange while there's a global pandemic going on. So yeah, that's like the story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my next question is going to be what lockdown slash quarantine looked like in Amsterdam, but you just hit it like
Oh,
a ghost town.
I wish I knew.
Yeah. Oh gosh. That kind of sucks. I feel so sorry for you. You're an exchange, and it seems like Amsterdam is such a great place. Like anywhere in Europe, really, because it's so easy to get to all these different countries and stuff. Oh wow. So then you finished the semester online at
Yeah,
home.
pretty much.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit how that worked and how you've
Yeah.
adjusted?
Honestly, like I had such a positive experience with the University of Amsterdam. So in my second block of like courses, I guess like that's what they called it. I only had I had this one prof, and he was so like all the profs, to be honest, in Amsterdam were so involved in every step of your, like academic like progress, I guess, I suppose. Because we were in smaller classes. So when, the pandemic hit and everyone got sent home, like some of my professors definitely made such an effort to check in on us all the time. So we would,
Aw.
text them on WhatsApp for, updates on our research,
Aw.
or and then he would like schedule us like weekly meetings or something like that just to check in. So that was really cool. And yeah, it was really easy to adjust. It was easier than I thought, to be honest, because everything was kind of, like sorted out for us. We just had to show up to the meetings, or, like send him a check-in kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's really nice. Since I'm not taking classes, I have no idea what it's like now. But I guess leads really well into my next question, because you've decided to, at least Paula told me, you've decided to do online from home in
Yeah.
Dubai, which is what even is the time difference? Like what time is it right now?
Honestly, I hate
Yeah.
it because I just feel like, it's like when you were doing things in person, it's like, okay, at least I know this is my time at school or at work. And then, the rest is me time. Even though if I'm sitting at home cramming assignments or anything, like, this is me time. But with everything being online, I think this is a problem for like a lot of people. There's like no separation between, what is work and what is me time anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously U of T is trying to make as many like accommodations for us as possible, but at the same time it's hard because so I'm doing a work study with CSE this year, and we had
Really?
training so that's like very exciting, very excited about it. But I just think that like the time is definitely a big factor, because my classes would be like 9 to 11 p.m. or like 11 to 1 a.m. And I'm so glad I dropped my 2 to 4 a.m. course, but I just think that's such
Oh.
a big like time jump to adjust from, and I'm just always stressed about God knows what anymore. But it's like that blur is just uncomfortable, I guess.
I hope everything works out.
No,
So
thank you.
yeah. All right, I've got one final question before I let you go. Do you have any tips or words of wisdom for students who are considering studying online from wherever they live, and um, or even words of encouragement to keep people going?
I guess like, people hear this all the time, but I definitely think, keeping a schedule just to get all your, dates, times, and everything done. Like I've literally got mine right here just to plan everything out. I think that helps so much because, at least you can visualize, when you have to be in class, when you have meetings, when you have work, and then you can, like take your time off or whatever. And it is a very difficult time, like especially whether you're in a different time zone or even if you are in Toronto. I think it's very important to kind of take time for yourself, and because I think like with school and work and all that stuff itself, we already get burned out like as it is. So with everything being online, I think it's more easy to be burnt out. So just kind of keep in mind to take some time off for yourself. I don't know, like light a candle, drink a cup of tea. But yeah, like I definitely think that like yes, focus on your school and work, but focus on yourself too. Because I think that during these times, like your professors and school will understand, like students, either unable to keep up or, feeling burnt out. So I think that things will be a little bit better. But yeah, like it is what it is for now.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, for agreeing to speak with me. On behalf of the Medium, I'd like to say that we really appreciate what you have to say, and we're very excited to share this with the rest of the university. I definitely feel like this will help a lot of students who are feeling uncertain and maybe even discouraged. If it is possible for them to do it. I mean, if you can do it from Dubai, I mean, like it's definitely possible for them too as well. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much. It was really nice speaking to you.
It was, yeah. Take care. Good luck the rest of the school year and at your work study.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good semester.
You
Bye.
too. Take care. Bye-bye.
That was my conversation with Elaine. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this final episode and all of our previous episodes in this video series. Remember to keep well, stay safe, and wear your masks. We wish you good luck as you begin the school year. Take care.